Today we're talking to Assistant Manager Neil Sorvel. We're ahead of one of the biggest games in Altrincham's recent history, the Isuzu FA Trophy semi-final against FC Halifax Town. Neil, first of all, let's focus on our last action, which was against Notts County on Tuesday evening, and two very controversial goals, particularly the first goal, which has produced a huge amount of discussion amongst everyone, really.
Yeah, it's tough to take, wasn't it? I think we do that and we're happy with it and we're saying it's something clever, but if you're on the receiving end, I think it's a really tough one to take. I think the fact that the lads moved the ball forward a couple of yards from where the free kick was and got away with it as well, even just adds to the fury, I think, a little bit with it. The second one, we've seen them given. It's one of them. It's a 50-50 one, isn't it? I just think he's quite close to Elliot when he strikes the ball. I don't know what he's supposed to do there, but like I say, you've seen them ones given. So it was tough to take on the night.
It was a difficult game for us. We really didn't want to play on Tuesday night because it would have been much better to have played on the last Tuesday of the season. But all in all, I thought we acquitted ourselves well against a Notts County side that looked potentially top-end League Two, maybe even League One standard. Yeah,
I think if you look at the top two in our league, it's the gulf in terms of just looking purely at points is frightening, isn't it? I think it's 25 point swing between the top two and the third place team. So there's a vast difference. They're on a different level, aren't they? The top two this season. Unfortunately for them, only one of them can go up. A lot of people say it's a free hit when you play against them two teams. I don't particularly like that phrase terminology. They're in our league for a reason. Because they haven't been able to get out over a number of years they've been in there. You'd like to have aspiration of doing well against them, but it's a tough task, especially against the Notts County who work the ball so well and make it really difficult for you.
Were you frustrated that not playing them on the last Tuesday of the season didn't allow us? I think if we had played them on the last Tuesday of the season, we really could have a real go at them.
Look, it's always going to be a tough assignment against them. I've seen them so many times this season in terms of analysing, other teams we're playing against, and if they do lose a game, it ends up being they've dominated possession and they've lost the game on two counter-attacks. So we said to the lads before the game, one, you're not going to have as much of the ball as them, nowhere near, and two, when we get our opportunities, you've got to take them. We didn't quite do that on the day, and similar to probably the first game, where I thought defensively we restricted them quite well to the opportunities that they did have. But you've got to take your chances at the other end. I was watching him against Dagenham the other week, which was the BT game. Literally, Dagenham had two counter-attacks. They capitalised on them and win the game 2-1, but they hit the post twice. Shots cleared off the line. There's all kinds going on, so you need that little bit of luck as well, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a similar situation in the defeat against Dorking earlier in the season. I think it was 1-1 going into added time. They ended up losing 3-1. Easily could have won the game. So all attention now focused on Saturday's huge game against FC Halifax Town. It's an FA Trophy semi-final. It's 32 years since Altrincham was involved in an FA Trophy semi-final when we were beaten by Wycombe Wanderers, who were managed by Martin O'Neill at the time. But it's much more recently than that you've been involved in an FA Trophy semi-final, and in fact you've been involved as a player and as a manager. So tell us about those two experiences.
The playing one was a long time ago. It's probably what we're talking now, 96 I think it was. So I was a young age of 23 at that time. We played. I think it was the old, wasn't called a National League then, it was the Vauxhall Conference, wasn't it? So we were playing the semi-final against Charlie, who were in the league below. I think we won the first leg at home 3-1, and then went to Charlie for the second leg. We were one down at half time, to be fair. We didn't have a particularly great game. I remember it was one of them, the semi-finals then used to be in April, so it was an end of season game on a dust bowl of a pitch, really bobbly like a car park. We didn't have our best game, but it was a case of digging in. We're 1-0 down, we're hanging in there. I remember our right back, unbelievable clearance off the line, headed one from underneath the bar, Sessidi, with part way through the second half, and then I managed to nick one at the end. Don't score many, but I think it was Philly Power, ex-Alty player, slid me in round the edge of the box, and I just managed to tuck it into the corner and just take that little bit of pressure off for the last 5 minutes. So yeah, good experience, yeah, really good. But I remember at half time being, really anxious that we weren't going to do it. You're so close. It's a great opportunity. Football league players and even Premier League players don't get the opportunity to play at Wembley throughout their career. So for a non-league player or a group of non-league players to do that is, it's a fantastic achievement, and you don't want to lose it once you're so close and you've got hold of it.
So in that situation, Macclesfield would have been strong favourites to go through against Chorley, who I think were Northern Premier League at the time. There was no National League North and South, and you've made it through. Your other semi-final as an assistant manager to Phil Parkinson at Altrincham Town against FC Halifax Town in 2016. The boot was really on completely on the other foot, because Nantwich were huge outsiders, and it was a fantastic run to the semi-finals.
Yeah, we'd beat some good teams that year. We'd I think Stockport were in Conference North. We'd beat them. Bradford, Park Avenue were a decent side in the Conference North. We'd beat them. Stourbridge, strong side out of our league. Not whether Gouldy was playing in that one. He might have been, actually. Beat them at home in the last 16. Then we beat Dover, who were a top 5 National League team at the time. Beat them at home 1-0. Was it 1-0 or 2? I can't remember. 2-1. 2-1 later on.
May have scored in that game.
I think we were stood on the sideline, and me and Phil were both teaching at that point, and we're going, this is a nightmare if this goes to if it goes to a replay. It was back in the day where pre-COVID, where you had to replay. Now it's just straight to pens, isn't it? So we stood there going, what are we going to do here on Tuesday? We're going to need to go at lunchtime or whatever. It's a bit of a nightmare. And then we managed to nick one late on and win it. And then Halifax in the semi-final. The lads were brilliant. They equipped themselves really well. We had the likes of Cozzy was playing, Elliot, Andy White, Josh Hancock. They were with us back then. It was a fantastic experience. We let ourselves down a little bit in the first leg. We were 4-2 down, conceded a couple of soft goals. And then I remember going to Halifax, and everyone's wrote you off at that point, aren't they? You're 4-2 down, you're away from home in the second leg. They score really early on. I think they were battering us the first 10 minutes. So we're 5-2 down on aggregate, and the lads just produced an unbelievable performance. We pulled it back on the day to 1 apiece, then we go 2-1 up, so we're 1 goal behind them then. I think we're down, what am I talking now? With 1 down on aggregate.
5-4.
Liam Shotton, who was that unpredictable player, was having an unbelievable game. In the first half hour, he was torturing him. He comes off injured, unfortunately, but we maintained the performance level. We had a chance actually to level it up, a decent chance. Second half, and don't quite take it, and then we had to push for an equaliser, and they counted on us at the death and scored. I think it ended 6-4 on aggregate, but it feels like deja vu with Halifax again. So hopefully this time the football gods will be shining on us, and we can swing it round.
I think Matt Bailey scored that day.
Yeah, he did, set piece, big bails, header from the corner.
He's a player that a lot of Altrincham fans won't remember playing for Altrincham, because he only had a short spell with us, but it was back in 2003,
right, okay.
So a long time ago, on loan from Crewe Alexandra. But also, I assume that was when Halifax spotted Matty Costello and then took him the following season also. Yeah,
I would think so, yeah. He was a top player for us then, because he done really well, and he deserved his opportunity to go and play higher.
So that's your experiences of semi-finals. We'll talk about your experiences of the final if we get there. We've got plenty of time to do that, should that be the case. But Altrincham versus Halifax Town. Looking at the draw first of all, it was a draw very much where it was more important where we played rather than who we played.
Yeah, I think you look at the 4 teams who are left in it. I think all 4 teams are capable of beating each other. Obviously, we've gone to Barnet and won. I think Gateshead have gone up to Barnet and won. We've had 2 tight games against Halifax. What's the league position? 3 points. 6 points, 3 positions. So I think it's anyone's game, isn't it, on the day? Yeah, you've got home field advantage, which is good. Good for us. But yeah, we've had 2 games against them already this season. Yeah, good. We've took 4 points, but they've been really tight games, and they could have gone either way. And we've had a bit of magic from Chris Conn in both the games that have helped us along the way as well.
And it's straight to penalties after 90 minutes. Is that a good thing?
I don't think so myself. I'd prefer it to have another 30 minutes extra time, but the rules are the rules, and we crack on with it. And
we have got a great advantage in terms of being at home. There'll be 80% of the crowd is going to be Altrincham fans, so the crowd has got a big role to play on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I think I went the bigger games. I think look back to the playoff games, the Blythe Spartan ones, and they back us, they get behind us. We're going to need that on Saturday. Like I said, it's for me, it's a 50-50 game. It's anyone's. 2 evenly matched teams, I think. They've got some good players, so have we. So that 12th man will be really important for us on Saturday.
And it's a big occasion. I think our players have proven that they can handle big occasions so far. But I guess with Wembley at stake, you never quite know with both sets of players. No,
you don't. Like I say, you get to this point, it becomes really important. You've got it in the palm of your hands, haven't you? Hopefully we can grasp it. And let's be honest, we talk about performance levels week after week with these players, but coming off on Saturday and saying we've played really well and lost is not going to make anyone feel any better. It's solely about winning. So if we're not at our best or not playing as well as we can, it's about us finding a way, digging in and getting the victory. And that's all that counts.
And will the preparations be any different from a normal league game?
No, we've got a few in and out with training today. We'll prepare as we always do, give the opposition the respect they deserve, and focus on what we think is the best lineup and best formation to go and win the game.
And what approach do we take in terms of planning for penalties?
Well, each round now we've give the lads an opportunity on the session before, so we'll finish the session on Friday. They'll all get to take a penalty or a couple of penalties just to get it in their heads if it comes to that point, where they're going to go, which side they're going to take, just to give them that experience. It's really difficult to replicate. I mean, we did one year where they walked up from the halfway line as if they're replicating the experience. So people do it different ways. It's a tough one, isn't it?
And is that something that you can coach?
No, not at all. All right, you might. It's a funny one, isn't it? It's like I always remember the Charlie game. So obviously they played the night after us when we played the best penalty shootout I've ever seen against Blythe Spartans, by the way, in terms of the quality of the penalties. And then we go to Charlie and it's the worst penalty shootout I've ever seen. So no, have they got the edge there? Keeper, you're giving them, I'm sure Gouldy be giving all the information if it comes to that point in terms of what's the favourite side, but we've seen it the other night. What do you do? It's like Regan puts a shot to the keeper's left on Saturday. Do you double bluff the keeper? Do you go the other side? It's down to the lads. They choose where they want to go.
And finally, Neil, it's been a really good season so far, and there's fantastic positive vibe about the club. We're very much on an upward trend at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. It's you know, we want to keep progressing. We want to keep winning more games each season. We want to keep accumulating more points in the previous season. We're on track to do that again. Probably with the first full-time season, it's been the biggest changeover we've ever had of players. So that's been, you know, a bit of a tough transition as well. Then we lose players in January. We found a way and kicked on again. So, yeah, really pleased with how the lads have done this season. It'd be lovely just to top it off with that Wembley appearance.
That's the thoughts of Altrincham assistant manager Neil Sorvel ahead of Saturday's huge encounter with FC Halifax Town at the J. Davidson Stadium.